The servant is the Demon King. A long time ago, an ancient demon king existed who was known to be the strongest in the entire continent. He decided to put all of his knowledge and power into a book. This book was called the Book of Nine Secrets. It is said that whoever practices the book can reach the world of heaven and earth in the palm of your hand. Now this Book of Nine Secrets has ended up in the hands of Zhou Yifan, who is said to be the Magic Emperor. We then see a scene where it's shown to us that information of the book being in the hands of Zhou Yifan has been leaked, and whoever has this Book of Nine Secrets will be targeted by all the martial arts expert. So now Zhou Yifan is being targeted by them. Word has gotten to Jie Cheng, who we learn to be the disciple of Zhou Yifan, who instantly goes to warn Yifan of the news. Yifan does not seem worried and is confident in his newly found power, while saying Cheng should not worry as he has it under control. Yifan goes to confront and intimidate the army and calls them a bunch of insects. He instantly powers up and rushes at them. He crushes 3 of them brutally, and all of a sudden, he hears a voice from above calling him. Jay and Yifan fly up to find out that it's the 7 kings who have finally arrived. They tell Yifan to hand over the scroll and they will spare his life. However, Yifan calls them fools and claims that he is recognized in the sacred realm as the most powerful among all kings. He adds to this by warning them that if all 7 of them come at him at once, they will be no match for him, and asks if they wish to die together. One of the very powerful saints states that Yifan is now the enemy of the entire sacred realm and asks if he really thinks that no one can stand up to him. The manga switches to another saint who claims that he'll take back the Demon King's legacy. The manga then switches to Jay, who claims that he's the strongest saint in the realm, but Yifan is not edged and exclaims that they're all just a bunch of sinister people. All of a sudden, we see a blade piercing through Yifan's chest, and the person who pierced the blade was Cheng, the disciple of Yifan. Yifan instantly realizes that he's been betrayed and realizes that Cheng was the one who leaked the information about him obtaining the Book of the Nine Secrets. Yifan exclaims that he raised him since he was a child and asks how he could do this to him, but Cheng responds by saying Yifan kept the book to himself and wouldn't even let him get a peek at it. Yifan realizes that Cheng's lust for power is greater than everything he has given to him, and Cheng responds by saying he has to do it with conviction, as that is what Yifan taught him. Yifan charges up all his energy in his body, which pushes Cheng away from him and is going to self-destruct. We then see Yifan's soul flying slowly down, and it enters the body of a dead young boy. Yifan wakes up almost instantly and questions if this body is the new him. He seems agitated and frustrated and asks how someone like the Demon King can end up in a brat's body. Suddenly, he hears a rustle sound coming from the bushes behind him, and out from there emerges 2 devious-looking animals. Yifan looks very scared and alarmed at first, but shouts at them to get out of there, and all the creatures surrounding him start to run away. Yifan then hears the voice of someone asking for help, and Yifan realizes that it was a relative of the owner of his body before he died. Yifan analyses his Kai Force, saying it seems to be around tier 2 and claims that it's enough to feed him. Yifan starts walking slowly towards the guy. Yifan grabs his forehead with his one hand, and the guy seems very scared and asks what Yifan is doing. The guy exclaims that Yifan is not Fan Zhou, which is the name of the boy who previously lived in Yifan's new body, and asks who he is. Yifan uses one of the highest ranking techniques from the sacred book, which is called demonic execution, and completely obliterates the guy. The manga then switches to the next day, where we see Yifan meditating, trying to master the demonic execution. He briefly talks about what the skill is in his head. He says that demonic execution is the highest ranking ability in the sacred book. He also explains what the skill can be used for. He says that it can be used to absorb other people's power to become one's own, but their spirit energy type has to be the same. Because of this, Yifan has to convert the tier 2 Kai into demonic energy before he can fully absorb it. Yifan questions how it's already morning and claims he took a whole night to convert a tier 2 force. We then see Yifan testing out his new magic. Yifan, who is now feeling much more powered up, threatens Cheng and the Kings of Swords and claims that when he returns, it'll be the end for them. As we see Yafan going around the place through the trees, he sees that something is going on around him. We get a closer look of what is going on, and we see somebody going by the name of Yan Fang, who is the commander of the Luo family guards and is calling Zhe-San a traitor. The manga moves to Zhe-San, who claims that him and Pang have worked alongside each other for years and suggests he stands down. We don't know what is actually happening right now, but the woman next to Pang claims the reverse dragon palm is a move which has passed through decades in the Lu family. She adds to this by saying that there's no way in hell that they'll hand it over to Sun. Her brother interferes by telling her to stop holding him back and exclaims that he'll kill the traitor. The manga then goes to Yafan, who is hiding behind the tree, who realizes why the Luo family is endangered. Yafan questions what he's actually thinking, as what he is thinking about are memories from the body. Yafan decides that he doesn't care anyways and decides to leave until he feels a sharp pain in his chest. On the first panel in the next chapter, we see a picture of Yifan's heart as he's shouting that it hurts. We then switch to Yafan, who asks what is going on. He thinks the problem is that his power is unstable. He also thinks that it has something to do with him using demonic execution for the first time and his body being volatile. We then see Yafan sitting down in a position of meditation to check if everything is fine with his body. His energy flow is normal, and so is his breathing and circulation. He finds this strange and asks himself what the problem seems to be. All of a sudden, Yafan realizes something and starts heading back to the Luo family. Yafan realizes that what he was thinking was true, and when he sees the girl from the Luo family, the pain in his chest seems to subside. However, when he starts to go away from her, his chest feels extreme pain. Yafan realizes that this can only be a spirit bond. He adds on to this by saying that if he's not careful, the spirit bond can destroy him. Yafan decides to dig into the memories of his body and see what the source of the spirit bond is. We then see a panel of Lady Luo protecting Fan and telling someone else that as long as he lives under their roof, Fan is their family. But the other person responds by saying that he's just a servant and Lady Luo doesn't need to protect him. We then see the next panel where Fan is asking guard Pang if he can teach him some moves. Pang responds by saying his body is too fragile at the moment and will give him some fundamentals. That will help him build up his body. Fan responds by saying he'll be diligent in the training so he can protect the Luo family. A time skip happens to a few days later, where we see the bandits attacking the Luo family and everyone else. There are big explosions everywhere and the place is hectic. The manga perspective moves to Fan and Lady Luo. Fan is slowly starting to pass away and Luo tells him to hang on. Even in Fan's last moments, he claims that he hates himself for being too weak and not being able to protect anyone. We then go back to present times, where we still see Yafan behind a tree, but now he has realized why the spirit bond exists. He explains how Fan longed to serve the Luo family and protect Lady Luo, so if he was to turn his back on them, the spirit bond will consume his body. Yafan is very frustrated that it's like this and that he's stuck being a servant forever. Yafan claims that doing this is much more difficult than killing anybody and exclaims that he's the Demon King and shouldn't be getting tied down by a puny human family. Angry, Yafan punches the tree next to him. This makes the tree collapse. Everyone watches as he slowly emerges from the darkness. As it's shown that Yafan comes out, Lady Luo is very surprised to see him and Yafan claims that he got lucky and survived. After looking at their Kai levels and seeing that they're at least tier 6, he realizes that at his current power level, he'll be dead. So Yafan suggests that Lady Luo should just hand over the technique to them and asks what the big deal is and says he'll give her another one later on. Luo tells him to stop speaking nonsense and come back to them, but one of the leaders instructs one of them to kill each of them one by one until they hand over the reverse dragon palm. He rushes at Yafan first, although he's 2 levels higher than him. That was his biggest mistake as he gets folded. After slicing the opponent's stomach, Yifan uses this chance and takes Lady Luo and the young master and runs away.